Let's talk a little bit about successes and near successes and things you still have to work on in terms of the first 100 days. He's about even on immigration in total, but everything else, he's sort of underwater. And particularly on the economy, tariffs and inflation, he's well underwater. You've still got some work to do in that front. A lot of people think that he's spending too much time on tariffs and not enough time on the economy and lowering prices. What do you say?
Well, I don't want to make things awkward for you, John, but it is our opinion that Fox News needs to fire his pollster.
What's up, everybody? Major retired Richard Ojeda here, and witness, if you will, a political movement on life support. A collapsing regime propped up by illusion, loud men, and louder lies. The approval rating, 41%. The strategy, deny, deflect, and sugarcoat the bitter truth.
And I won't surprise you with that. I don't think you're surprised that I'm saying that. But the Fox News pollster has always been wrong about President Trump. They were the ones that said all summer long that Kamala Harris was going to be the 47th president of the United States. So we don't acknowledge any of that polling.
There's a definite tension rising between what we're being told and what we know to be true. On one side, Harry Enton calmly laying down the facts. Donald Trump's approval rating is plummeting, and history is clear. No president with numbers this low has ever helped his party survive the midterms. On the other side, we see the spin machine in overdrive. Stephen Miller deflecting and demonizing from a White House lawn, dressed up like a public shaming ritual. Caroline Leavitt delivering polished talking points to a carefully curated room of influencers. No press, no pushback, no truth. And then there's Fox News standing by as their own pollster is dragged through the mud for simply doing his job.
According to this brand new poll, Trump's approval rating now standing at just 41%. To give you some context, that is the lowest for any president at this point in his term in the history of modern polling, going all the way back to Eisenhower. This beats the record Trump himself set at the 100-day mark of his first term back in 2017.
They're all working overtime to sugarcoat the bitter pill. Trump is losing support, the economy is crashing, and the numbers they brag about don't hold up to even basic fact-checking. And the bottom line, the American people are fed up. You can dress up a lie, but you can't make it true. And when all the flash and filters fade, the only thing left standing is the data. They are lying to protect power. We are telling the truth to take it back. Because no matter how much they sugarcoat it, this is a movement in decline, led by a man whose numbers don't lie and whose time is running out. The House is in play. The people are awake, and there's a reckoning coming.
A number of recent polls show Trump underwater, with more than half of Americans disapproving of his performance overall. And when you look at issues like immigration and the economy, where he was previously strong, Trump's numbers are upside down there as well. The president, perhaps unsurprisingly, taking note of it taking note of these headlines, posting on social media this morning to call them sick and those who write about them the enemy of the people, adding he thinks these pollsters should be investigated for election fraud.
While the official White House press corps still exists, what Caroline Leavitt and her team have built is something entirely different. It's not journalism, it's a delivery system. A curated influencer briefing where there are no follow-ups, no fact checks, and no uncomfortable truths. This isn't about fielding questions. It's about feeding content.
If you had told me a few years ago that Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, would have his own TV network and 2 White House correspondents, I might not have believed you.
To mypillow.com.
But it is 2025, and there's a whole lot of new media here at the White House. We're here today to meet some of them, including one of Mike Lindell's White House correspondents. These big tents here is where you have CNN, ABC,
right,
the networks, and you guys are kind of
so
off to the side here.
we're kind of off to the side, which is what a lot of alternate media is doing right now.
You are a Trump fan, right?
Yes, I'm definitely a supporter of President Trump.
So will you be able to hold them to account then?
I will be able to hold 100% him to account. I'm sure things that will happen that I disagree with, and I have said plenty of times, on the record when I've disagreed with his decisions.
Is there anything so far in this administration you've disagreed with?
I'm not gonna, let me put some thought into that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just overwhelmed with how well I perceive things to be going.
She's assembled a digital army of podcasters, YouTubers, and low-rent propaganda pushers to sit in front of her, nod politely, and push pre-approved talking points into the bloodstream of social media. And that's by design. They don't need to win a press conference. They just need to win the feed. This is where they bypass scrutiny. This is where they spread the narrative directly, unchallenged. It's not about accountability. It's about control. And who's getting that front row seat? Not journalists, not experts, but TikTokers, streamers, operatives, content creators who won't push back, who will take whatever they're handed, slap a caption on it, and turn it into viral content. That's the goal. No questions, just clips. And it's not just clueless kids doing this. It's calculated. It's strategic. It's how people like Tim Pool, an alleged independent who parrots authoritarian talking points and amplifies Russian propaganda, end up sitting in rooms designed to echo American power. This influencer briefing isn't just a spin. It's narrative laundering, straight from the podium to your scroll. And it's all wrapped in a bow of false economic optimism. Levitt stands at the podium and rattles off a laundry list of statistics like she's reading a campaign flyer. Hundreds of thousands of jobs created, manufacturing roaring back, unemployment down, gas prices falling, veteran joblessness lower than ever. It sounds impressive until you look at the facts. Most of those new jobs are recovering positions lost during the pandemic or part-time gigs propped up by unstable markets. Manufacturing still bleeding under Trump's reckless tariffs. Unemployment, a slight uptick across key demographics, especially for seniors and working class families whose services were gutted by federal cuts. And let's not forget, none of this even touches the cost of living crisis still squeezing American households every single day. What she's offering isn't data, it's fantasy, a parade of cherry-picked figures with no context, built to paint a picture that doesn't exist. And the real tale is how confidently she delivers it in rooms where no one dares push back. She wouldn't get away with this at a standard press briefing. But in front of the Stepford crowd she's assembled, it plays like gospel. That's the whole point. She's not briefing the press. She's briefing the algorithm. At some point, the spin gets so desperate, it breaks reality. We've moved beyond messaging into theater, absurdist theater, where propaganda wears a clown nose and calls it policy. Caroline Levitt and Stephen Miller aren't just lying. They're creating a universe where ICE is the new Maury Povich, where press briefings are more performance than public service, and where the president is portrayed as a flawless savior while every failure is dumped at Joe Biden's feet. It's not just dishonest. It's disorienting by design. This isn't about informing the public. It's about flooding the zone with nonsense. They want you so overloaded with buzzwords and manufactured outrage that you stop asking questions and start looking for a side to cheer for. It's not governance. It's content creation. It's how you end up with press conferences that sound like Reddit threads, influencers nodding along like it's a brand deal, and a government that's more interested in going viral than being truthful. Which brings us all back to Caroline Levitt, who seems to think if she says Joe Biden enough times, she'll conjure a scapegoat big enough to erase every failure of the Trump administration. The inflation, Biden. The war, Biden. The rain, probably Biden. Her devotion to deflection has become so transparent, it's almost impressive. Almost. And here's where the satire lands. If Caroline Levitt actually saved $1 every time she blamed Joe Biden, she'd probably have enough to pay off those misused campaign funds from her failed congressional run. Maybe even with enough left over to buy herself, a clue. Because that's what this all comes back to. The con, the illusion, the endless looping deflection from the real issue. They're losing. Trump's approval is sinking. Voters are turning. The numbers don't lie. So they scream louder, lie bolder, and hope you're too busy laughing at their circus to notice the collapse happening right underneath it. And now we come full circle to the bitter peel they've been trying so desperately to sugarcoat. Because when all the smoke clears, when the influencers leave the briefing room and the mugshots are all taken down, we're left with one undeniable fact. Donald Trump's approval rating is 41%, just 100 days into his term. That's not a rough patch. That's a red alert for the Republican Party. Harry Enton told us what they want. There's no historical precedent, None for a president this unpopular helping his party hold on to the House in the midterms. Not one example. And that's why they're scrambling. That's why they're lying. That's why they're flooding the internet with spin and distraction. Because the numbers don't lie. And the American people, well, they're waking up. They know if the truth gets out, if voters stay locked in, focused, and furious, they won't get another chance to gut our government, to funnel power to the billionaires, to wage war on immigrants, workers, women, or democracy itself. This is their fear. This is their unraveling. This is the reckoning they're trying to outrun. But we see it, we feel it, and we're not fooled. So remember what this is. It's not just a press strategy. It's not just a PR campaign. It's a cover-up, a distraction from collapse, a frantic attempt to patch the cracks before the whole thing breaks wide open. Because this time, the lies aren't enough. This time, we've got the facts, we've got the numbers, and we've got the will. The House is in play. The people are watching. The reckoning is coming. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.